Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Nitro Racing League here on the channel, going road course racing here today from Watkins Glen. Very excited for this one. As you guys know, I love road course racing. We've got 2 wins on the season. We've won the last 2 races we've competed in, trying to do the three-peat here today at Watkins Glen, and there was no better way to start this episode than starting P3 on row number 2, looking strong right off the bat. So of course, 3 stages for this race. Overall, this race is 45 laps. Stage 1 is 10 laps. It ends once we hit lap 11. Stage 2, another 10 laps, and that will come to an end when we hit lap 21. And then the race officially ends when we hit lap 46, of course, unless there is some type of overtime. But we got off to a really good start there. Got past Matt Chaffee out of turns 1, so we were already up into 2nd place, trying to run down our teammate of Connor. And as we went down the straightaway, we have a rule here this weekend in Nitro where if you put 4 tires into the grass through the bus stop, basically cutting the course, you have to do a stop and go. That happened right there for Connor on the very first lap. So he has to pull off the track, do a stop and go, and I go through to the lead already here from Watkins Glen International now. So Matt Chaffee was in that 2nd position. Now only 18 cars. I think we have a 20-person limit or something like that now in the Cup Series races. There was a lot of rule changes actually going into this week after what happened last week with it just being such a disaster at times. So as we go down though into this final turn, we're going to come through and actually lead the first and opening lap here from Watkins Glen after starting in that 3rd position. I knew Andrew Wisdom, it was just a matter of time until he was going to find his way up here. He's always a very strong road course racer, and I feel like I'm really good at the road courses, but Watkins Glen is usually my worst road course, so I didn't really think I was going to be much of a factor for this one. But now we came through to lap 4, and it was a 4 of Christian up actually into 2nd place at this point as we came through out of turns 1. Just really trying to manage the lead at this point, though. I wasn't trying to pull away. I was just like, you know what, I'm comfortable out front, but we actually ended up getting a caution. So once we crossed the line, we would settle back in, get ready to go green for a restart. We got back going here on lap 7, so there was only 4 laps to go in this first and opening stage here from Watkins Glen. Chaffee really sails it off into turns 1, makes a mistake, gets into the side of myself, but we get a really good exit still nonetheless and get cleared. And now as we went through this right-hand corner through the kind of S's, the 12 of Cameron was actually able to get front of Chaffee. So they would actually go back at it though side by side here as we went down this long straightaway towards that bus stop corner. So that was really allowing me to open up the gap once again. And Andrew Wisdom, he was just marching his way through the field very quickly. Now as you see, Chaffee got all the way to my back bumper though as we went down into that bus stop corner. So as we came through though to 2 laps to go in the stage, finally Andrew, sure enough, up into that 2nd position. So I was just trying to manage the gap. I didn't want to get a penalty cutting one of these corners here in the bus stop. I realized that I have enough time on Andrew that I don't have to push anything there, as I did have a close call, nearly put my tires right through the grass, but fortunately was able to stay on the curbing. So as we came through now on the final lap out of the final turn, sure enough, we would hold off Andrew to get the first stage win here in Watkins Glen. So another playoff point to our name. I think that was only my 2nd stage win of the season, but we would come into the pit lane. There was some strategy where a couple guys stayed out, so we were now down in P5 for the restart, and I chose that left-hand side for the choose cone, and we got back underway down towards turns 1 with a whole bunch of Joe Gibbs Racing drivers up here in the mix. Behind us there was some trouble. Andrew Wisdom got shoved into the grass through turns 1, and all of the progress he just gained got completely taken away now as you would get past our teammate of Matt there in the 19, and now to the back of the 95 of Connor. So now up in front we got Jonathan there in the 20 car. Jonathan, bit of a rough start to the season for him as he's trying to rebound here with a strong run in Watkins Glen. He had a very strong race recently. I believe it was at Charlotte Motor Speedway, so we'll see what he can pull off here today now as we go down towards the carousel. So I was now trying my best to just reel them in because I felt like I was faster than both the 95 and the 20. Right now as the 12 actually forced his way through the 19 of Matt behind us there through the carousel. So he was being a little bit physical and aggressive as well as we came through now out of the penultimate turn. Another crash had happened, by the way, so we were actually racing it back to a caution. So these two in front of us were going at it, the 20, the 95 side by side out of the final turn, trying to be P1 for the caution, but it's going to be the 20 of Jonathan who gets first, 2nd for Connor, and 3rd for myself. So of course we would get ready to go green for yet another restart, and already about halfway through this 2nd stage. The race was going very quick now, so we would get back underway on lap 17, and I once again chose the left-hand side of the track. I felt really confident and comfortable being on this left side. Of course there is a bit of a disadvantage if someone pushes up into you or something, but I just felt like I was just overall just downright faster on that left-hand side out of turns 1 for a restart, so I just kept on doing that. But a clean restart overall as they're side by side between Connor and Jonathan there in front of us now. But as we came through out of the S's, Jonathan not with the greatest run there as I try to get to the back of him. Got the 19 Matt behind us. Jonathan actually moves over to let me go, as well as man into the bus stop right here. You're going to see I make a mistake, go way too deep, nearly cut the corner. And then right here I didn't feel like I could safely stay on track. So I did my stop and go right here because I felt like I was going to cut the corner. So we ended up coming through to cross the line. There was another crash, by the way. So we end up getting a caution there and settle for P11. So now we will get back underway for another restart, but now there was only 2 laps to go in stage 2. So basically the caution cutoff or whatever I think had happened, and we were just racing it back. No matter what happens at this point, we have to race it back to the finish. And well, you see the 41 gets straight up dumped. Then 73 of Jay gets involved. He's up and over a bunch of cars. The 22, I think maybe even the 12 was in it. And now we are up here in P9 right behind the 14 of the rookie of Mahu. He won a few weeks ago at the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Got his first career win in the Cup Series here for the Nitro Racing League here as we go down through that bus stop. So a bit of a wild start here in the second stage and a wild end to the second stage now as we came through onto that penultimate corner, looking up that left-hand side of Mahu as we go down towards turns 1, approaching now the final lap of the second stage. The 95 of Connor was currently leading the way. But of course, a disastrous second stage for us. We won stage 1, and here we are right now on the outside looking in of stage points as we go down into turns 1 on this last lap. Some trouble up in front of us. I go too deep into the corner, and right here out of turns 1, I make a mistake, and I loop the car around. Unfortunately, the 4 of Christian runs into the back of me in the process as well, so we both go crashing. We get the car regrouped and back going in the right direction, and then as we came through out of the penultimate turn on this final lap in front of us, the 12 of Cameron, he wrecks. I slam into him. Thank goodness we never run damage in this league because it would be a complete disaster, and out of the final turn we would have to settle for P12 in the second stage from Watkins Glen. So a complete disastrous second stage. So of course we'd come into the pit lane, take 2 cans of fuel, take 4 fresh tires. I made some adjustments to the car as well, and we would get back going here from P12 to start stage 3 here as we go down towards turn 1. Keep in mind, this race comes to a close when we hit lap 46, so only a little bit over 20 laps to go, and we will have to make a green flag pit stop if, of course, it stays green here as we come through out of turns 1, headed up towards the S's. I was not really playing around. I wanted to be up in the mix here. I wanted to be aggressive, get physical if I needed to make up as many spots as we can, but the 4 of Christian just comes across the track and causes a big incident right there. The 73 of Jane nearly goes up and over. Multiple cars involved. The caution would come out again. I don't know if Christian just lost the car or maybe didn't know I was there, but either way we would get it back going. At the time I was very frustrated, of course, but we would get back going for yet another restart. And well, now we are here in P16, and as we went down into turns 1, just trying to be a little bit careful at this point now, but definitely, like I said, I was definitely frustrated because I was realizing we're running out of time very quick to get anywhere now, as we've been running in the back pretty much for the whole second stage, and now in the first part of this third and final stage, the 41 and the number 5 car, they come together a little bit. Now they're side by side between the 41 and the 12 of Cameron just in front of me now as I'm going to stay to the left hand side. I didn't want to back out right here, and the 41 actually lets me have the spot here through the bus stop, so I come through up into now P13. So just trying to put the pressure on these guys. I would make a move to the outside of the 12 down into that last turn now up his inside here, and we would also get past the 18 of Gale Force, and then as well past the 88 of Libert. So we were up now back into the top 10, and like I said, I wasn't waiting around. I decided to dive bomb up the inside of the 3 here and get through here really well. I actually made the corner no problem, so I was happy with that. So now we were behind the league owner and of course teammate of Matt O'Brien, but he sails it off into turns 1 there, trying to pass the 2, makes a mistake, and that would allow me to get in front of him. And now I would look to the left hand side of Smoke GT there in the 2 car out of the carousel. We make some contact. He is ghosted on my screen, so it made it a little bit awkward to fight with him, and as we go down into that penultimate turn side by side, but we would get clear of him on the exit of the corner. He was ghosted, and in my rear view mirror you can barely see a ghost, so I didn't know if I was leaving him enough room or not when I was getting past him, but hopefully I was. Now as we came through to lap 29, we had a new problem. I'm up to P7 running down Matt Chaffee, but I couldn't find a way around Matt Chaffee, and I felt like I was faster than Matt, but like I said, I just couldn't find a way around him. So I decided that we really only had one option at this point, and that was the short pit. So on lap 30, I decided to come into the pit lane. So we come in P7. How is this short pitting strategy going to work? I was just looking for a top 5 at this point, and we had a good chunk of time here to really run my own pace with nobody around. So I was very happy with that, and I felt like this improved my chances for a strong top 5 finish. And you're going to see how it cycles out as the 4 of Christian, I believe, actually actually crashed on the pit exit, so that was very unfortunate for him. But we would eventually cycle out to P7, and the pit cycle wasn't even over yet, so I was really looking good at this point here as we would just continue setting a pretty strong pace. I was really happy with the pace I was doing on this last run now as we came through up into P4. We cycle out into 4th place, nearly have a moment there with the 22 of Durham, but we get past him. He was, I think, a lap or 2 down at this point now with only 6 laps to go in this race. It was a very calm race here in stage 3. There really wasn't a whole lot to show. We would cycle out, though, into P3 with 4 laps remaining. I knew we could gain ground with the short pitting strategy, but I didn't think we would ever gain this much ground, so I was very, very happy. I was hoping for a caution. I felt like at this point, I was the fastest car on the track, and now as we came through on lap 43 through the bus stop, I was hitting my marks really well. Everything was going good. I had a 1:07.5, which was one of the slower laps I had, and then we came through to 2 laps to go. We hit a 1:07.0, and it was getting closer and closer to the 1:06s. I've never set a 1:06 at Watkins Glen, but the car in front of me, Connor, was making mistake after mistake and allowing me to close in on him. So as we came through the bus stop, a lap and a half to go, Andrew Wisdom continuing to lead the way. I'm just hoping a caution would come. That caution unfortunately never ended up coming. So now we're just trying to run down 1.4 seconds there on Connor. But we just spent this whole last run after pitting just gaining time on these front runners here as we went down into turns 1 on this final lap. Now a wild stage 2 put us in a rough spot going into this 3rd and final stage, and now we have at least rallied back to a strong run here now as we try to run down that 95 of Connor. You see how far up ahead he is. It looks like it's very unlikely that I'm going to get him at this point now here on this final lap, but I can tell you right now this final lap is the best lap I have ever put down at Watkins Glen in NASCAR Heat 5 here as we come through the bus stop. Not being terribly aggressive, but I was definitely aggressive enough now as the 95, he makes a mistake, and all of a sudden I am within 2 car lengths of him as we come through the carousel for the final time. Andrew Wisdom down the back straightaway heading down towards that penultimate corner, now only 5.9 seconds ahead of myself, but of course last lap no chance at getting him unless he somehow bends it out of that penultimate corner and wrecks. But as we go through into this penultimate corner ourselves, we close in a little bit further. I was hoping to be close enough to move the 95, but not close enough as Andrew Wisdom wins in Watkins Glen. Out of the final turn, the 95 of Connor gets a poor exit. I get a great exit. We look to the right hand side. It's a drag race to the line, but Connor barely holds us off there for 2nd place, so we have to settle for P3 here from Watkins Glen. But overall, a strong finish here on the day. I'm going to show you guys the points, of course, before we end this episode. So we've actually moved up into 2nd place in the point standings, 34 points behind Andrew, but that's our worst finish in the last 3 races we've done, P3. So I'm really happy with how our results are looking on that scorecard so far, and things are just continuing to go well. Andrew now joins us as the 2nd driver with multi-wins on the season as we picked up our 2nd in the last episode. If you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time, of course, out of your day to watch this episode and other ones on the channel, and of course would like to say thank you to the Go One Racing members on the channel of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Visur, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, Dana9302, and as well King Matt XL. You guys support me so much, and I really do appreciate it time and time again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.